Welcome everybody. Welcome to Accounting 1B. This presentation is a brief overview of how we will be using ETUDES to run our class. As you can see, there are basically three panels. On the right side here, there's some items that are pretty self-explanatory, so I'll leave that alone. You explore on your own. The middle panel here, I call the control panel. It will have a link to the weekly agendas page, which provides you detail of what you see here at the bottom. So this part here is sort of a recap of what you'll see underneath this link. I also provide you at times with additional notes and recaps of announcements that I might be making over the week. So I would suggest that you read these notes, obviously, that I give you in the control panel, as well as the section here that you really care about, because this is what makes up your grade. These are the deliverables, which are basically defined as the items that you submit for a score that eventually builds up to your final grade. As you can see, in week 1, you will be working on your orientation tasks, and they are detailed here under this link. And so you should go there and see what those are about. They all relate back to this here anyway. But again, go back to this link and see what is the specific instructions for these items. With respect to the actual content of the class, you begin with chapter 9, so that's the reason you have the submit RC or reading check 9 as part of the deliverables for this week. Reading check basically tests very briefly. It's very simple test. It's a very simple quiz actually that tests your understanding of some concepts from the reading of your textbook, which is the basis for the class. Is your textbook. As optionally, you can go into the lecture notes as well inside of the module page or the module site. Notice that this module here, this link to the module or lesson 9, is also found through this other link on the left side navigation panel. So this is the same. But these are optional. You can also go into MAL and go into the multimedia library and find more resources to actually learn the material. So you decide how much resources you need to learn the material. But at the very least, you will be learning or be using the textbook. Homework 9 is the problem-solving portion of any accounting class. So similar to the RC, so to the reading checks, here I assign certain items, certain homework items, which are actually listed in the class calendar, which is also part of the syllabus. And they're the very same ones that you will find here in the modules themselves. So I'm going to actually now link to the modules so you can see what it looks like. It's just, again, the same thing as the dashboard here. I'll link there. And this is all optional, but it does provide you with a lot of detail as to how you basically approach the chapter itself. And also it gives you, under the lesson tab, some notes. There are a combination of the author's notes and my own comments. And at times I do embed some videos that you might find useful within the topics. And for these to work, you need to be logged into MAL within the same browser. In this module 9, you also have a tab for homework. So if you go to the homework, you see that it's listed, and the ones that have a little red star, they are the ones that I have assigned. And again, they are the same ones that you see in the class calendar. So if you go to those links, you see the solution. At times, I develop my own solution in Excel, such as this one. And so you can see how I solved it with Excel. If you go to the resources, if you go back to your site here, to the ETUDES site, there's a resources feature here. If you click on that, you find there's actually also an answer keys here. Now these are PDF format, and they don't have much except for the key. There's no explanation. My answer keys have a little more guidance here. So you can use both. You can either use my modules homework tabs to get to the answer keys and the explanations that I provide, or you can go to the resource under ETUDES to find the publisher's answer keys without much explanation, but it's up to you which one you use. Now, these PDF files are password protected. I will send you the password in a different announcement. Going back to, again, to ETUDES here, to the home page, I just want to finalize this part of it, this part of the presentation by saying that these links down here are there to help you. Well, you link to the pages to help you develop or to provide you with information and instructions that might help you get to the point that you're actually ready for the reading check or to solve the homework inside of MAL. There are also some. There's a link here to the syllabus, to the calendar, and to the gradebook. I will detail these in a different presentation later. Let's see, the ATS. I'm going to go to announcements now. In announcements, at this point, there's nothing here except for maybe one announcement, but you'll find that I will make an announcement at the beginning of each week, and I will provide you with the weekly agenda on Monday morning, and I will provide you with an end of week recap when the class ends, when the week ends on Friday at noon. The work week for our class is Monday morning to Friday afternoon. So if you need some help, you need to post your question or private message me between Monday and Friday. Under ATS, you will find that we don't use it much. It's just a place for you to upload your team project files. Anything else like tests will be done under the My Accounting Lab tool, which came bundled with your textbook. And there will be another presentation or another page with instructions regarding MAL at a different time. The discussions and private messages feature is important to us because that's the way for you to get help with all your material in the class. As you can see, I have created forums and discussion threads for all kinds of different discussions. And so here's the orientation forum for the questions regarding the orientation. Here's some discussion threads for what I call my office items, such as the syllabus, the grading, and so on. There is chapter discussion threads, and as you can see, I have created a thread for your questions regarding the reading, and also some very specific threads for each of the assigned homework items. So the exercises and the problem itself, and anything else will fit into this other. I have done the same thing with every single chapter here, so you can always have a place to post your questions. And normally myself, my assistants, if any, and your own classmates will come into your postings and they will provide you with some answers and some help. Or you can do yourself come in and do that for others. There's also a private messages feature here that you need to use to communicate with me privately. Do not use email, rather use this private messages instead. And finally, I do want to mention the recent topics little thing here that does help you find the most recent topics, and that way you don't have to look through these threads to see which ones are the most recent. The chat feature we don't use that much. I mean, it's still there for you to use as a group if you need it. Let's see, and finally, let me go into the dashboard. I'm going to again click on this, go back to that same page that I showed you before, but at that point I only show you the weekly agendas overview tab. Now I'm going to go into the modules and assignments tab, and you'll see that here's where you find the links to the chapter modules, and then you will see later here's where you will find the link to the instructions to your team project, and there will be some class activities. Most of them are going to be optional, so you can actually find them here if you need those. There will be also at some point a need for you to review the gradebook. Your gradebook will be here under this tab, which is also accessible from the ETUDES site directly, but you will end up in the same place. Right now, I haven't updated this page, so you will not see your section here, and this will explain how to access your own individual gradebook. But I will go or announce this later in a different time. And that is basically it. Hopefully it was helpful, and if you have any questions, post those questions in the discussion forums. Enjoy.